to Two Doctors Homestead. My name's Daniel.
And I'm Janet.
And this is Coffee Talk. So in this episode of Coffee Talk, our first episode of Coffee Talk, today we're going to talk a little bit about chickens, but first we're going to talk about coffee. So today we're drinking coffee and hickory, or chicory. I always mispronounce it.
Chicory.
Chicory. So we got our French press here, which is a lot of fun when you're doing coffee at home. Alright, so now we can talk a little bit about chickens.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's fall, so this time of year we have a lot of dropping of feathers in the chicken coop.
Right.
If people haven't kept chickens before, or if this is their first year of a full year of chickens, you're going to walk into the coop and see a lot of feathers on the ground.
And it's going to confuse people.
It's confusing, it's scary. You think maybe a predator got in and got to your chickens. But we're going to go over the three main reasons on why you're going to see feather loss from your chickens, basically any time of the year. So the first reason is molt, which is what we explained. Chickens are going to molt several times during their lifetime. When you get a baby chick, super cute, they're nice and puffy. They're going to have their first initial molt they're going to lose all that puffiness of their feathers. So that's going to be their first molt that we usually call feathering out. So then after that, I don't know, what do you think it is? Maybe after they feather out another 4 or 5 months, maybe we see those feathered out feathers. Then they're going to slowly drop those feathers, and they're going to get in what they consider their first set of adult feathers.
Right. Here's everybody, the feathers fall out. They're eventually going to grow new feathers, but you walk out to your coop and there's feathers everywhere on the ground.
Right.
And then they start growing back feathers. When they are molting, you won't get a lot of eggs, right? So egg production pretty much stops because they have to use the proteins and whatnot in their feed that they absorb through the feed in their body to grow new feathers. So people will find, hey, all of a sudden my chickens aren't laying eggs anymore. What happened to my chickens?
Right. And that's a big problem for a lot of people, because they just assume that they're going to have chicken eggs year-round from their flock.
Right.
And unless you pre-plan your flock to have some winter egg layers and, summer and spring and fall egg layers, you're going to not have any eggs during, fall, winter.
Right. And
you're going to be going to the store to get eggs. At the same time, you're still feeding your girls.
You're still feeding your chickens. You're paying them just to hang out at that point.
Right.
The food costs money, so we look at it, you're paying the chickens to lay the eggs. You take the eggs, they don't seem to mind, and they like the feed. So there's, where there are little employees, little chicken employees out there working, they take some time off. So yeah, absolutely. And there are different breeds of chickens, and many may be aware of that. Things like, your Rhode Island Reds, and there's high production chickens, and a lot of those are more spring and summertime layers. But then you have chickens like the Brahmas that we like. Those are more wintertime layers. So you can vary your flock to get more eggs year round.
Right, a good mixed flock. Now, your productions, like your production reds and your production whites, they'll probably molt very quickly, which means they'll drop their feathers real fast, and then they'll regrow real fast, and then they'll likely start producing again in that first winter. But you're not going to actually see that annual molt until about 18 months. And when those girls pop back, they're not going to be that chicken that lays an egg every day anymore. Right. They're going to be a chicken that lays an egg maybe, once or twice a week. So, commercial farming,
commercial farmers,
they don't keep chickens past molt.
Right.
They have their high production reds and their high production whites, and, they keep them from egg laying, which is anywhere between 4 to 6 months, until that first molt around 18 months, and then that chicken's gone. They're not in production anymore.
They're food.
They become
at that point,
part of the food chain then.
But if you have a homestead, if you're raising chickens at home, you're probably not gonna harvest your flock after 6 months or after a year when they're not producing as much. You're gonna continue to take care of those animals throughout their lifespan, understanding that over time, your first year maybe you have 10 chickens and you're getting eight eggs a day, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. But a couple years down the road, those 10 chickens may only give you two or three eggs a day.
Right.
Right. So you just have to understand that. And I think homesteading or farming or taking care of your animals, I feel personally you have the responsibility for that animal throughout its lifespan. Understanding commercial hatcheries, commercial, chicken producers, they have to produce a maximum amount of eggs to make a profit. So they're not running chicken retirement homes.
Right, they're not.
Right?
They need a return on investment.
Right, they need to return the investment.
Right.
So molting is something to be aware of, especially if you're new to taking care of chickens. Is at some point chickens are going to lose their feathers. It might freak you out a little bit. They're kind of going to look like store-bought chickens. Right? They're not going to have a lot of feathers.
Some do. Some will lose all their feathers. Some just lose patches. And what we've seen through our years of chicken keeping is that usually around the neck area and head, it starts first. Around their back, where you would see, if you have a rooster, that if there's overmounting and overbreeding, that's right at the base of their tail, but above, they're going to lose.
Right.
And then below their vent, and sometimes they lose a lot of their wing feathers too. But there are chickens out there they'll drop to a naked chicken.
Right, it's just a naked chicken running around.
And the purpose of them molting is that they come every year, every fall. They're going to drop their old feathers to produce new adult feathers to keep them for the next year for protection. Right. So that's just their cycle of life, to be able to renew, their protection layer for the next year.
Right.
So if you could get them if they start molting, it's probably best to increase their protein level of their feed, because most layer feeds are around 15%. Sometimes you can find the 18% layers. There's a place in our area that does an egg maximizer that's 21%, which is great, because you really want to bump up their protein level so they can regrow those feathers for winter, because they need to get those new feathers for winter or they're going to be cold.
They're not going to make it. Yep.
Yeah, so the quicker they can re-feather out, the better.
Right. Now, there's some other things that can cause your chicken to lose its feathers that we wanted to talk a little bit about, and it is something to be aware of outside of molting if your chickens are losing their feathers, like mites or lice. And if we run kind of a closed bio environment with our chickens. There's the chicken house, and then the runs, and everything's enclosed, so it's a closed system. But you can still get mice. You can still get lice. They'll get it from wild animals, any wild birds in the area.
Rodents
carry it. Yeah, so you have to be aware. Once again, keeping chickens long enough chickens, you're going to get mites, or you're going to get lice, and it's something to be aware of.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can't see mites. Mites are going to be microscopic, and there's multiple different types of mites. There's northern fowl mites. There's a lot of different kind of mites, but typically what you'll see is loss of feathers around the vent area. So if you see just localized area with no feathers around the vent, it's quite possible that your chickens have mites, and you'll know because they'll be over preening themselves.
Right.
In their vent area, which is not normal. You just need to observe your chickens and know your chicken behavior. So if you think that they have mites, then there's some protocols that you can go through.
Right, we're showing the Elector.
Yeah.
So one of the things, obviously, you want to keep your chicken coop clean. Now we do deep litter, which a lot of people might do, which means really only cleaning it out about every 6 months or so, depending. We put down wood chips, we put down hay, and it accumulates kind of a layer, and you kind of get your own little biosphere in that layer. But one of the items
composts
we use...
at the same time, and that's great for winter. Deep litter is great for winter because that composting creates warmth to keep the chickens warm.
And they can dust bath in the litter if it's deep enough. But one of the things we use is an Elector PSP when we clean out the chicken. Right, if you want to talk about the Elector
use that. Well, Elector PSP is not cheap.
No,
you can get it on Amazon or at farm stores. It's about, I think, $150 to $160 now.
For that little bottle there.
But the nice part about it, and can I see it for a second? Because I think I have it written on here. Yeah, it's 2 teaspoons per gallon. I mean, that's all you're going to use is 2 teaspoons per gallon. And we have what's the size of our coop?
Well, the coop itself is 16 by 12.
Yeah, so that's a lot of square footage.
Right, inside the coop.
And usually what I do is I just mix up 1 gallon of it in those hand pumps, the pump sprayers. Yeah. And you're going to spray everything. You know, I mist the walls. I spray underneath the roofs, all the cracks, the ground, basically everything. You saturate everything, and you know, hopefully it's warm enough for it to dry out, because you don't want to do it when it's cold.
Right.
I mean, absolutely not, because it's going to stay cold, and it's going to get, you know, too much cold moisture in there, which could kill a chicken. But
yeah.
So once a year we use Elector PSP, and know that Elector PSP, I do not believe you could use. I think if you use Elector PSP, it's not good for bees. So you don't want to spray Elector PSP. Well, anywhere around like your garden or anything, because it will take out bees.
Yeah, we use it inside the coop where the bees wouldn't be in there anyway.
Right, they wouldn't go in there anyway.
Yeah,
so we do that once a year.
Yeah, and then the other thing we do is the
Permetherin
concentrate.
And that is cheap. I mean, you can get that at a farm store for, I don't know, $5-6 for that whole thing, because it can be used on any livestock for flies. Any livestock area. So we'll do that the second time, and the reason for that is you don't want to build an immunity. You don't want your mites, lice, you know, anything that you might have going on building an immunity to the Elector PSP or the Permetherin. So it's good to just be able to rotate those products.
Yep. No, absolutely. Yeah.
So you're going to treat, if you have mites or lice, let's stick with mites. If you know you have mites, what you're going to do is, the best thing to do is dump your coop, you know, pull your bedding out,
clean it up,
spray it with one of those things, and those 2 products can actually be used on the chickens as well, as a dip, or so you could spray it around the vent for mites, and then under the arms, and you could just do a little mist on their body. Some people will dunk them.
Yeah.
You know, they'll put it in a 5-gallon.
Right. We've never done that.
We've never done that.
We've never done that.
Usually I just hold the girls, or he holds the girls, and I give them a little spritz and spray in the areas. Yeah. But you'll have to retreat then within 7 to 14 days.
Yeah, if you think you have mites, and you might see some signs of the mites, though you can't see the mites themselves.
Yeah. Now scaly leg mites are something that's totally different. Scaly leg mites, so you usually see the scales of their legs will kind of pop up and out, and those 2 things will not help with scaly leg mites. But people, you know, talk about the different things that work, and there's some crazy stuff out there. I mean, there's people who say that you could dip them in gasoline and stuff. I mean, that's just,
we haven't done that.
To me, that's horrible to even think about. You know, how painful would that be for a poor little chicken? But the whole point is to smother them in the place. So we have used Vaseline before on the legs. You just put the Vaseline real nice and thick on the feet and legs, and it smothers out the little the scaly leg mites. And eventually, what you'll see is that the new scale will grow. That scale will fall off, and a new scale will grow. Now, those scaly leg mites, they hang out in the perches, in the wood and stuff. So this stuff doesn't work for that. Yeah. I mean, that's just something that when you get them, you get them. You just have to keep trying to maintain it.
Treat the chickens on it.
Yeah.
All right, then the next thing we have is
retreat.
Retreat.
You got to retreat.
Absolutely.
7 to 14 days.
Because they'll lay the eggs, and you might kill the ones that are alive, but you want to kill the eggs as well. Right. So they're going to hatch, and you want to get the next cycle before they can lay the eggs to keep repeating the cycle. So you can't just treat once. You want to treat, and then get the next batch as they're hatching before they can hatch again and lay more eggs and whatnot. So it's important to treat and retreat.
So we've always dumped the coop once, but that's it. You know, we dump the coop once, we spray and treat, and then we retreat again in 7 to 14 days. And if you catch them, like you said, before that next cycle of them being able to reproduce, then you don't need to dump your bedding again, because they're not going to be dropping, you know, any eggs or anything into bedding. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And it's probably a good idea to do it even if you don't have mites, is just go ahead and treat your coop, find something you're comfortable with, because you might have them and not realize it, right? You want to create a clean environment.
Good biosecurity for your chickens. Yeah.
All right, you want to do lice now?
Lice is tricky because you're probably not going to see loss, feather loss, and mites.
Right.
Or with lice.
Right. Yeah.
Lice, or you can actually see lice.
Yeah. You can see them like little.
You can
dots
see
on the
them.
feathers.
They're gross little bugs.
Yeah.
You're going to see them on the bodies of the chicken. And that depends on what your lice is. Like, there's different lice that go for different areas. There's lice that just hang out on the body.
Right.
There's lice that just hang out around the vent. So you really want to check your chicken head to toe to see if there's any creepy crawlies. They're gonna.
Right.
You're going to see them on it, and you're also going to see when you separate the feathers. There's going to be like a powdery. It's going to look like you put cornstarch or baby powder or something on the chicken's skin, because there's going to be like the shaft that touches the skin is going to have like powder on it,
right?
And that's actually the lice eggs.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But you won't see feather loss usually.
Right. They don't necessarily cause the feathers to fall out or anything like that. And one thing to keep in mind with lice, is lice somehow evolved for millions of billions, trillions, however many years, whatever planet they came from. But they really only can live on
chicken lice
whatever planet they came from, can only live on one kind of animal, right? So that, if you had hair lice, that those lice couldn't live on the chickens, or if your chicken has lice, you don't have to worry that lice is going to jump in my hair or something.
Right. And that's how the mites are
hair.
too. Mites are like
the
that
same
too.
way.
They're species specific.
Right. Yeah. They're actually very specific. Somehow a lice that can live on a chicken can't live on you.
Right.
So you don't necessarily have to worry that, oh my God, I don't want to get lice from my chickens. You can't. You can't do that. I don't know how it works. Millions of years.
And if our hogs have ever got lice,
right.
Our chickens don't get lice. It doesn't even jump between our hogs and chickens.
Right. You can't pass lice between the pigs and the chickens, or the chickens and the dogs, or yourself and the dogs. Somehow they're so evolved that they can only survive in a very specific environment. So.
Yeah, it seems like lice like dry and hot.
Yeah.
Days to thrive.
Right.
Yeah, but you'll notice that your chicken might be lethargic, just not acting right. Egg production always goes down. So if you have laying hens and you see that egg production's gone down, that's going to be,
they're not moving around a lot.
Your number one. If they're sitting and they're just puffed out and fluffed up, that's always an indication that something's wrong with your chicken. If they're perched and their feathers are fluffed out.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And that's when you can check. And you can look online on how to check, or, we can talk to you how to check. You can reach out and we'll tell you how to check.
Right.
But it's a good idea. Keep an eye on them. Check them every once in a while. And once again, same thing. Clean out the coop. You've got the Elector PSP, this Permetherin, I think DE. The DE stuff you can treat with.
People who love DE.
On them. Right.
I'm not a fan of DE because I think it's more caustic to the chicken's respiratory system.
Right, to breathe it in.
Than it is for the benefits. But there's people who love it.
Right. You
so
can do DE. A lot of options.
Honestly, you do you.
Right. Absolutely.
That's my theory.
It's your chickens. You're responsible for them. You definitely want to take care of them. And then some of the other things. Sometimes we use the term chicken tending. As a riff on chicken tenders.
Right, chicken tenders.
You're taking care of chickens, you're a chicken tender.
Yeah.
It's a little thing on chicken tending. It is wintertime coming up, and some people are going to want to use a heat lamp. We're not big fans of heat lamps. There's too many stories of coops burning down from a heat lamp, whether the lamp has a short or heats up too much and there's dust catching fire. I don't know.
There's a lot of dust in chicken coops.
Yeah, a lot of dust. Chickens make a lot of dust.
Just from a chicken's feathers, they actually put off a lot of dander. So that in itself is going to line,
you get dust in the air. Some people use a heat lamp, and if you do, and if you feel you have to, certainly.
Right.
So do
you?
Right. Do you? We don't do the heat lamps. You want a good chicken house. Whether you build it yourself or you buy it.
Right. Free from drafts. Drafts are
bad. No draft. Right. You don't
moisture
want
and drafts.
You don't want them chickens getting wet, because that's going to really hurt them. More susceptible to getting injured by the cold, dying from the cold. You have the little babies, like if you just, if you incubate chickens or you buy chickens at the local store, we go Atwoods, Tractor Supply, anything like that, go to fairs or something like that. You want to think about the baby chicken and how long it's going to take to grow feathers before winter hits.
Right. To feather out.
Right, you want to make sure they're fully feathered. And if you do have the baby chickens, and we do heat lamps on the baby chickens when we're incubating chickens. We'll use heat lamps on those in a very kind of controlled environment, usually in the house where we can keep an eye on them.
Right, and a lot of people don't brood in the house, you know.
Right, yeah, we brood in the house. We use bins and whatnot to raise the chickens inside. But yeah, for wintertime, you want to keep them warm, you want to keep them dry, no drafts. Depending on where you're at, what you do, you probably don't need a heat lamp. But once again, that's your option.
Because chickens are very resilient.
Yeah,
and
they're
that's
crazy
the thing.
resilient.
They are amazing creatures, and
Right.
if you try to not pamper them with heat
Right.
lamps,
Yeah.
they will adjust.
Right. No, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
if you're in an area that is just crazy cold,
Yeah.
then you might not want to get a chicken that is more resilient in the heat.
Right.
You
'cause
know,
there are
you're going to
different
want
breeds
to.
of chickens.
Yeah, you're going to want to look for your winter layers.
Yeah.
You're going to want to look for your chickens with like feathered legs, like the
Right.
Brahmas. You know, there are definitely different breeds that do better in heat and do better in the winter.
Yeah.
So if you're living in 50 below zero, you probably want to get winter egg layers
Right.
because you're going to have eggs, and it's not fair to a chicken to live in an environment that's not conducive for them.
No, absolutely.
They'll
Yeah,
adapt,
no,
but how
absolutely.
much can they adapt?
Right, right. And then one of the other things we want to hit on was some water absorption. So if you do get some moisture in your coop, or you got moisture around the coop where the chickens go, you can get pellets. You can get horse stall pellets.
Yeah.
Those are actually pretty good. We checked a couple bags out yesterday just to help with some absorption because it's been raining here. And then there's also some corn husks we've been using lately. They have it at Woods.
Yeah, it's something new. It's they take the cobs of the corn
cobs,
and
yeah.
they mill them down in such a way that they're supposed to absorb a lot.
A lot, yeah. They're
Yeah,
super
I mean, to the
absorbent.
naked eye, I couldn't tell if they were absorbing more
right.
than the horse stall pellets, but
Yeah.
I think either one of those things. I mean, and don't go crazy with it,
Right.
because there's always going to be some type of water,
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to get the moisture down, a bag of those horse pellets are
Right, those are
great.
good to have. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're good to have around. We keep food and water in the coop all the time, so they have access to food and water in the coop. I know some people don't do that, and maybe it really just depends on how big your coop is.
Mm-hmm.
But we lock our chickens down at night, so there's doors on the side into the runs, so we close all the doors, just so there's no predators can get to them. We have all
Mm-hmm. Right.
sorts of predators.
We don't
in the
automatic door
area.
either.
Right, we don't do the automatic doors.
Because we want to check on our chickens every day.
Right,
You
so,
know, you got to
yeah,
make sure
it
everybody's
forces you to
okay,
go out and look at
that there's
them.
nothing in
Right,
that
right.
coop.
Yeah, no,
We have a lot of
absolutely.
predators here. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, there's natural
we have
predators in
coyotes
this area.
and we have a lot of
Coyotes,
hawks, which is why we
hawks.
don't let our chickens free range.
Right, yeah, hawks, owls, snakes. I mean, there's plenty of predators out where we're at. They'll take the chickens out.
Possums, so
Possums, yeah, we get possums
Come
all
and
the
take your
time.
babies out.
We got skunks out here, so lots of predators.
Mm-hmm.
So we keep
Yep.
it pretty locked down. But yeah, water absorption's good. Corn husks are good for all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's good. Some good basics.
That's good
for
basics. Good chicken
tending.
tending basics. Eat your eggs; they're good for you. So hope you
Delicious.
enjoyed our first episode of Coffee Talk. Hopefully it won't be our last episode of
Yeah.
Coffee Talk. Like, subscribe, share.
And if you want to know anything else about chickens, this is just a big overview for us. Just
Right.
put it in the comments below.
Right,
we have
yeah.
no problem chatting about. I could chat about chickens all day.
All right, we'll keep doing it. All right, thanks for watching.
Thanks.